Welcome to one of the most mysterious places in Gran Turismo. A place where cars will suddenly lose control and then vanish without a trace. Welcome to a place known as the Sardegna Triangle. Well, that's the Halloween video ticked off. Hi and welcome back for some Gran Turismo 7 daily races. We're racing on Sardegna's Road Track C in reverse and we're using Group 3 cars. Now don't let the simple looking layout of this track fool you. It has teeth and will bite you on the arse in several places if you're not paying attention. We've got highlights from 3 races for you today, including a close third place battle, a photo finish, and an actual victory. In our first race, we are starting in third place on the grid in a BS lobby. Feel free to make your own jokes up for that one. And we're off for the start of the race. I always hate the first corner of a race. I never know where to judge the braking point. From this position, I go a car length a bit deeper than I would normally and just ease it into the bend. Trying to keep tabs with Admiral, I go a bit too wide, nearly lose it on the grass. But I do actually lose my third position on the very first bend, which is not ideal. So I want to try and keep tabs with A1. This chicane is quite tricky when you are right behind another car. Fortunately, make it through safely, but I've noticed that basalt behind me is pretty close. So I'm fully expecting to get hit up the backside when we go up to the tight bend around here, but I send it far too wide, which does probably save me. As he hits the braking and goes on the line I would have normally been on. But I've lost a bit more time to A1 and I've still got basalt right behind me. Now I've noticed in the mirror there's somebody overtaking him, so I'm going to have to be really careful into this bend and try and get it just right. Now, I've noticed A1 has gone a bit wide and I've judged it okay, so I've managed to gain a bit of time back on A1. Still with the car right behind me, but not quite as close as before. Trying to get a clean line through here. As I said before, quite tricky, and I've sent it wide, which then messes up my next corner. Losing a bit more speed. A1's messed it up a little bit as well, but not quite as badly as I did. Again, watching out to get taken out on this bend. Unfortunately, I'm far enough ahead that I managed to get away with it. Picking things up a lap later, and I've noticed in the rearview mirror that Basalt is trying to get his place back. Spending a bit too much time looking in the rearview mirror perhaps because I go a bit wide on this bend. Fortunately, Basalt doesn't hit me on the corner, which is pretty decent driving from him. Although the mistake has lost time to A1 in front. So I'm well out of the slipstream now. I'm just trying to concentrate on protecting my position from the guys behind. As you can see, he is right on my tail. He has a look up the inside, but thinks better of it, fortunately. Another tight turn. He's right on the backside, but he manages to hit the brakes. He's still got me in the slipstream and he is closing down the straight, so I am expecting another challenge as I get up to this bend. I've got to be really careful to get the braking right. Keeping it tight so he can't go up the inside. Managed to hold him off again. Although he has got the better corner, as I can see on the splits, him catching. Keeping it nice and clean through the chicane. But again, it is challenging as we're heading towards this tight bend at the top. Trying to be really careful because I know there's a challenge coming. But it looks like he's lost a bit of speed. And it looks like Admiral has spun out, which gives me the third place. Always a tricky corner, that one. If you catch the gravel on the way out, you can very easily spin the car. So Basalt, close again. Just managed to defend the position. Again, good driving from him not to pump me off. Because in BS races, you get punted off all the time. Gets quite frustrating sometimes. But we're getting another decent line through the chicane. Again, he's right on my tail as we're heading through this section of the track. I'm going wide again, but fortunately he manages to pull out of another manoeuvre. And I make it down the straight. We've only got 2 laps left to go. Can I defend my 3rd place for 2 more laps? But he's going for a manoeuvre on the inside. I've gone wide. I'll let him take the inside, and then I get him again on the cutback. It's a race to the first bend, but with him going slightly wide, he has to give me back the 3rd position. Got away with that one a little bit. Now I'm trying to keep a clean line through the chicane because I expect him to come right back at me. It looks like he takes a bit of a poor line through that bend and has dropped off the pace a little bit. Skipping forward to the end of the final lap, I've managed to catch up a little bit with A1, but I noticed Basalt is catching up on the splits. And I'm expecting a lunge as I see him fly up the mirror, and indeed he does smash into the car. It doesn't hit me too far wide. I get the position back, and I manage to keep in front to claim the 3rd position. Now Basalt did actually apologise to me in the chat after the race, because that was just him missing the braking and not an intentional attempt by him to ram me off the track. Good driving from him during the race. Any other races I'd have been punted off numerous times with a car behind that close. So yeah, good racing by him, and happy to keep the 3rd place. Close race, decent result. On to race number 2, and we start in 2nd place for this one. Now I'm hoping I can get a better start than I did in the last race and not give away a position right away. So we're starting behind Chris, trying to get a good line into the first bend. Managed to not mess it up like I did in the last race. But Chris does get the power down a bit earlier, and I lose a little bit of time. Trying to keep it clean into the chicane for the first time around, but unfortunately I clip the wall, sends me a little bit wide, and the guy behind catches right up. He's thinking about a move, but thinks better of it. Now I know I'm going to have to be really careful going into this bend, but unfortunately I send it a little bit wide onto the gravel, and the guy gets the run on me on this straight. There's not much else I can do apart from let him go and try and keep it nice and tight into this corner, see if I can get it back. But I've already lost too much time. Get a little bump from the guy behind, but nothing too bad. And that's me down into 3rd place. So I'm going to do my best to try and keep up with the guy in 2nd to see if I can make any improvement. As it turned out, I couldn't. And we'll pick things up on lap 7. As you can see, I'm over 4 seconds behind the guy in 2nd. But as I came around this bend, I was quite surprised to see his ghost, because he must have come off on that corner, and it's given me a run on him on the straight, and I managed to claim 2nd place. And we're going into the last lap, and I've got a new position to defend. Nearly get taken out on that bend, but I managed to keep it tight. I know he's going to be gunning for me after he made that mistake. But fortunately, he's not had the best run through, and I've managed to gain a bit of time on him through this chicane. I'm just trying to concentrate now on making a clean race. Oh, and he has another lunge. Much to my surprise, I see the guy in 1st place is right ahead. So I'm kind of wondering what's gone on there, because I'm catching up on him quite rapidly. And it's going to be a race for the finish line, which I didn't expect. Going to try and use as much of the slipstream as I can. It's edging towards the line, and I came 2nd. But 200ths behind the lead. But a second place I wasn't expecting, so I will take it. But that was so close to a win. So I wanted to go and find out what happened. So we'll just check the replays, and I'll show you what happened during the race. So here we are on lap 7 with the guy in second place. As you can see, he's right behind the leader. He clips that curb, sends himself wide into the gravel, causes an absolute mare, and that's what slowed him down enough for me to overtake him. So we're joining the leader now to see what happened to him. As you can see, he's on a bit of a flyer, miles ahead of everyone else. He's heading through the chicane on his way to a nice easy first position when he clips the inside barrier and clips the outside barrier, which gives him full damage front and back as well as engine damage, effectively crippling his car. And that's why he slowed down as much as he did. And here we see the run up to the line from his perspective. Me coming up on the left. There's the finish line. I mean, look how close that is. Let's change the view. That's proper neck and neck as we cross the line. Had it been a fraction further to the line, I'd have taken the win. But he just managed to hold on for first place. On to our final race now, and I get a rare pole position for this one. As I've said for the other races, I always find this very first corner to be quite difficult. And I will demonstrate that perfectly with this corner. As I get smashed up the backside, sent wide, and the other driver gets into second place. So again, losing positions on the very first corner. And I end up chasing this guy for a good chunk of the race. We'll pick things up again on lap 5. As you can see, I am smack in the middle of first and third, looking pretty comfortable for second. When coming around this bend, I am surprised to see the leader facing completely the wrong direction and letting me through into the race lead. And that illustrates just how easy it is to mess things up on this circuit. You've got to be on it 100% of the time, otherwise it will ruin your day. So that sees me into the race lead. And as it turned out, I managed to keep that lead for the rest of the race to pick up the win. Always happy to take first place, especially when it's been gifted to me. As well as the win, I also had the pole position from earlier and also picked up a clean race award. Just a shame I couldn't get the fastest lap to complete the hat trick. But even so, it's kept me in DRB safely for another week. So there we have it. Those were my adventures in the Sardegna Triangle. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the races and what you think of this track layout. It's quite a tricky one, but does lead to some interesting racing. I've been Jimster71. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more. And until next time, I will say bye for now.